Welcome to the mindfulness.com, where we explore practices, wisdom, and science of mindfulness and spirituality through spiritual scriptures. Today, we are going to look into the chapter 112 of the Quran and look into my spiritual translation to understand what is the ihlas or the clarity in self-awareness and what is it meant by that. So today we'll be seeing the word to word translation of the Quran and deeper meaning of each words. So if you visit the website, you can see the word to word translation, and to translate Quran I have used approved English to Arabic lexicons like Lane's lexicon, Hanswehr, and Steingas Arabic dictionary. So my method to understand the spirituality, the spiritual message of Quran is to look into the Quran as a subjective experience. Because from my own experience in spirituality, I understood that Quran is not a religious book, but it is a spiritual book which have the spiritual signs of awareness, consciousness, and how the universe works. And the chapter 112 is one of the very important chapter in the entire Quran, because this is the chapter which defines the universal consciousness or the infinite consciousness or the Allah, the God, Brahma, whatever you call, but the definition of that source is explained in this chapter. Let's look into the word by word translation first, and we will go into deeper word meanings. The chapter starts with Kul huwallahu ahad, which means kul means to spell, say. So it is to saying to our own whole being. Huwa, he or it. Huwallahu, he is the infinite consciousness, or it is the infinite consciousness for anyone. Ahad means anyone. Allahu Samad means the infinite consciousness is the source of everything. Lam Yalid, not it generates forms, and nor it is generated by any, and not exists to it an equivalent anyone. So let's look into the word Allah to know deeper about it. The word Allah, or the scientific word the infinite consciousness. Why I would like to use the scientific word infinite consciousness means the word Allah have lost its functional meaning because of the influence of religion. So the word infinite consciousness, if you understand the word consciousness, which is even in ourselves, we are conscious and we have consciousness, and if you understand that as a functional experience, it is easy for us to understand the universal consciousness or infinite consciousness. But if you define it as God, our ability to understand is limited because we are creating a form. When we say infinite consciousness, we are creating a functional explanation which explains its existence. So I prefer to call it infinite consciousness. So the infinite consciousness is the highest dimensional interconnected framework in which everything in the universe exists. It is the source of everything that exists. It is the highest dimension of being of the universe as oneness. It is formless, not bound by space and time. It is the source and it is the destination. The difference between human consciousness and the infinite consciousness of the universe is when we try to understand our highest dimension, our consciousness, it is a formless, timeless, and spaceless entity which we call ourselves I am, I, the I. So, in spirituality, when you try to understand your highest dimension, what you understand is when your body is perishable, your mind is influenced by body, and your self awareness, which sees your mind and body, is actually a formless entity, a collection of your own understanding, your own awareness. And that is a formless entity which exists with the universal consciousness. And if you can dissolve it, you can be one with the universe. So that is the core message of spirituality. And this message can be seen in every traditions of the world. And if you look into the ancient wisdom of Egypt, the word or the symbol used to denote consciousness is the symbol R8, which is nectar, and they told Netaru three cloth on the pole, or the modern term flag, Netaru, as consciousness. So my understanding is that they took the flag as a symbol for consciousness, because the flag is the symbol for the starting, source, and the destination, and the universal or the infinite consciousness is the origin and the end of every being in the universe. And that can be better explained with the Quran verse 24:42. And to the infinite consciousness belongs the dominion of high awareness and the field of mind. And to the infinite consciousness is the destination. So this verse very clearly states that our mind, the field of mind, our awareness, the high awareness, the everything exists or belongs to the infinite consciousness, and it is to it we all are destined to go. So you can refer the website and understand more about the words. So the chapter 112 explains that it is the infinite consciousness for anyone. So any being existing in the universe, the infinite consciousness for it is the same. The infinite consciousness, the source of everything. Not it generates forms, and nor it is generated by any. So infinite consciousness, even though it is in the highest form of existence, it is formless. It does not need to create a form to create us, because it is creating our consciousness, and in from the consciousness the awareness is created, and through the awareness we become self-aware. When we become self-aware, we see our mind, and through the mind we find the body. That is the true view of spirituality, from the source to our physical dimension. But we, as we evolve, we see from our body, mind, awareness, consciousness, and universal consciousness. And for the universal consciousness to bring us, it does not need to create a form. It can remain formless, and it can be conscious about all its existence, and nor it is generated by any. And the universal consciousness not is generated by anything, but it exists by itself, and not exists to it an equivalent anyone. And there is nothing like universal consciousness, and it that is the best definition. And if you practically implement this in your consciousness, you can achieve the utmost clarity and dissolve your human consciousness and become one with the universe. And when you practically implement this clarity in your self awareness, that is when you dissolve your being conscious, dissolve your inner being, and you become one with the universe. That is when you witness that there is no being conscious but the infinite consciousness. And that is the meaning of La ilaha illallah. La means no, ilaha means there is no conscious being. Other, La ilaha illallah means other than the infinite consciousness. So when you witness the universal consciousness in yourself through being connected to your highest form and dissolving it, that is what the whole message of Quran is, to be one with the universe, no, a non-dual existence. And this is the spiritual message of Quran,